Thanks for joining me again for another Business of Trucking video. Now this is going to be another video about sales tax exemption for trucking. I did a video about it a while back. Refer back to that one for more information. But I've had a lot of questions regarding this topic. And one here recently, a gentleman wanted me to show how to fill out the forms. And he asked specifically about Pennsylvania. So I'm going to show how to do that today. Now, in trucking, several states allow for sales tax exemption for trucking. Not all of them. You have to look into that. And every time you get a repair done at a place, say you go into a TA or a Love's, say, hey, can I get a tax exemption form? And if they have them, fill it out, turn it in, save some money. This thing really adds up in time over the end of the year. Just last week, I saved a little over $350 on a bill by turning in a sales tax exemption form. Got some differentials put in the truck, and he gave me the bill. I said, hold on, we got to take some sales tax off of this. So I filled out the form, gave it back. The bill came down $350. So it's worth doing. And now let's get to some of the questions about doing this. Okay, one question is, do I have to live in the state that I'm filing it in? Well, no. If you're a truck driver, say you live in Michigan, okay, and you're traveling to Wisconsin, you break down in Wisconsin, or you got to have a tire put on, you just fill out that exemption and give it to the repair shop, and they can take the tax off the bill. Now, another question is parts and labor. Are they different forms? No. All the sales tax is going to be on the same form. These are typically what's called a blanket tax exemption form, and they serve more than one industry. So, now different states have different rules. You have to read these forms. Actually read them and follow the instructions. Some states will have a sales tax exemption for trucking, farming, mining, road construction, continue on and on. So you have to find the spot on the form that pertains to trucking and follow that, okay? Next question is, do I have to have my own MC number? What if I'm leased to a carrier? No, you do not have to have your own MC number. The company's MC number will suit you just fine. Now, also note that not every state uses the MC number as the number that makes you tax exempt. So you got to read the forms. However, most of them will just accept an MC number. Okay. Another question. Oh, something to be aware of. Okay, and I'll show you. It pertains to Pennsylvania, the form that we're going to look at today. There's a difference between a common carrier and a contract carrier, and you probably won't know unless you go back and check which your company is. Okay, if you're filing for a new authority, if you already have your authority, I filed myself as a common carrier. Most people do, but some people make the mistake of filing for a contract carrier. You can do that, but as far as I'm concerned, there's more benefits to being a common carrier. And if you're leased to a company, don't just assume that they're a common carrier. Call them up and say, are we a common carrier or a contract carrier? Okay. And this will come into play. I'll show you when we fill out this form. Next question would be, what qualifies as being tax exempt? Is it washer fluid, oil, parts, service, tires? If I buy cleaning supplies, truck washes, whatever you can think of? Well, the answer is it depends. Every state can be different. As a generality, most states say if it becomes part of the truck or trailer, now trailers apply here too, but if it becomes part of the equipment, it can be considered tax exempt. Now that is not always true. Some states have specific rules. This is state specific. You're dealing with state sales taxes here, okay? So read the forms. But okay, so what becomes part of the truck? Well, any kind of service you have done, obviously the bill would be, if you took your truck in and they replaced a water pump, okay, that whole thing will be tax exempt. Tires, oil, wiper blades, yes, washer fluid, power steering fluid, anything that you add to the truck or attach to the truck. Now this is broad generality. There can be more specifics in different states. So check on that. It's important to read these forms. You don't want to misuse them. The next question is, what do I do with the form once I fill it out? So how do I file it with the state? Well, you don't file it with the state, okay? This is something that you fill out the form, you print it out, or you hand fill it out, however you want to do it, and you give it to the person that is selling you the good. So if you're buying, most people think you can't do this, but Walmart will do tax exempt sales. I got myself a card. If you go on their website, go down in the bottom and find print somewhere, and it says something somewhere about sales tax exempt. They'll send you a card. They'll send you a card in the mail. I've done it with most of my local hardware stores, and then my parts houses. You fill out the form, you give it to them. They keep it on file, and you will have to do one at every retailer where you buy things. Okay, Freightliner, Kenworth, Peterbilt, Love's, TA, Flying J. Every specific store, okay? And I'm talking about like at the shop at the TA. If you go into the store to buy a gallon of oil, they're probably not going to mess with taking your tax exempt form. But if you go into the shop where they deal with this kind of thing and turn it in there, get your tire put on, whatever, they'll know what to do with it, okay? So now I'm going to bring up on the screen here a Pennsylvania tax exempt form. And we're going to walk through step by step and show how to fill it out. And I'll show you the things to look for and what you have to put in to get this to work in your favor. So what I did to find this form is I just went to Google and I put in, well, first, if you want to find out if your state you're concerned about is tax exempt, I just put in here Google, is Pennsylvania sales tax exempt for trucking? And it came up with all these results, and you read through them, you can find it. All right, and then what I did to find the form is I went to Google and I put in PA tax exempt form. And it brought me up these results, and wouldn't you know it, the very first one is Pennsylvania tax exemption certificate. So I clicked on that, and it brought me right to the certificate here in PDF format. So I can fill this out on the computer and print it out and photocopy it and keep about 20-30 copies in the truck. So if Pennsylvania is a state I think I'm going to do a lot of business in, I would just carry multiple copies so I can turn one in to every retailer every time I buy something. So let's take a look at how to fill this out. Okay, now first at the top here, it's asking what you want to save taxes on, and we're concerned right here about state and local sales and use tax. So I'm going to click that. So we check that box right there. Now let's start here. So you can do it as a one-time purchase, or you can file this form to use for multiple transactions. So if you do a lot of business with the Freightliner dealer in your town, you would want to have multiple transactions. So you don't have to fill this form out every time you go there. They'll keep it on file. Maybe once a year, once every couple of years, they might ask you to update it. So just do that. But then you won't have to do it every time. So right here, we're going to do this step by step to help. Henry was the gentleman that wanted to know, to help him out, so you can kind of see here. So we got to put the name of the seller, vendor, or leaser. So this is the name of the company that is selling you whatever you're buying. So we'll just say right now, TA. We're buying this from the TA, and we'll put their address in there: 123 Main Street. City, I know there's a TA in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, so we'll put that in there. I spelled it wrong. And the state, Pennsylvania. Zip code, I have no idea, we'll just make something up. Alright, so now here's the part where we have to decide how this pertains to us. We have to find the part here that pertains to trucking. But we want to read all the instructions to make sure we're not screwing this up. Something that's important here to know is that in a lot of states, the equipment itself, when you buy it, like if you go to the dealership and buy your truck, in a lot of states, there should be no sales tax on that, okay? Pennsylvania, on this form right here, in the very first part, is letting you know, do not use this form for claiming an exemption on the registration of a vehicle. To claim an exemption from the tax for a motor vehicle, trailer, semi-trailer, or tractor with Pennsylvania DOT, Bureau of Motor Vehicles, use one of the following forms. So they're saying don't use this form for sales tax on the vehicle itself when you buy it. There's two other forms here that they refer you to, which is MV1, Application for Certificate of Title, or MV4ST, Vehicle Sales and Use Tax Return Application for Registration. Okay, but right for this very purpose, we're not buying the vehicle, we're just buying parts. So we're going to skip over that. Go right to the next part here. Before we determine which one pertains to trucking here, let's go to the instructions. Like I say, always read the instructions. So we're just going to skip down here a little bit to general instructions. Okay. In the general instructions part here, it talks about which tax you want to be exempt from. Well, we checked that at the top, sales and local use tax. Okay. Let's go to section 1 here. Property and or services will be used directly and predominantly by purchaser in performing operation of manufacturing, mining, dairying, processing, farming, shipbuilding, and timbering. None of those pertain to us in trucking, do they? So we're not going to check box number 1. Let's check box number 2. Purchaser is a or an instrumentality of the Commonwealth? No. Political subdivision? No. Municipality, electric co-op, or agriculture, credit unions, U.S. government, federal employees, school bus, or charter schools? None of those apply to us. So we're not going to do number 2. Let's go to number 3. And number 3 talks about property or services will be resold or rented in the ordinary course of purchaser's business. We're not doing that. So we're not going to be checking box number 3. Box number 4 has to do with renewable entities, which is religious organizations, nonprofits, charitables. We're not that. None of section number 4 applies to us. So we're not going to check box number 4 up here at the top. Number 5. Let's read for number 5. This is going to pertain to us in trucking right here. Okay, right there. I got it kind of highlighted. Number 5 says property or services will be used directly and predominantly by purchaser in the production, delivery, or rendition of public utility services as defined by the PA Utility Code. So in Pennsylvania, trucking is a utility. Now here's where it says, this exemption is, remember, it says not valid for property or services used for the following. 1. Construction, improvement, repair, or maintenance of real property other than real property used directly in rendering public utility services. Or, remember, they're telling you what it's not valid for. Or managerial, administrative, supervisor, sales, or other non-profit operational activities. Or, remember, they're telling us what's not valid. Vehicles as well as supplies and repair parts for such vehicles right here, unless the predominant use is for providing a common carrier service. That is us, common carrier. Okay? Now here's, remember I said common carrier versus contract carrier. I'm a common carrier. Most trucking companies are going to be common carrier. But just verify that so you're sure that you're abiding by the rules. So right here it's telling us common carrier. They're saying it's not valid unless the use is common carrier. So we just found the part that pertains to trucking. So let's go back and we're going to check box number 5 right there. And right here, we're going to check that box. US DOT number. We'll just make something up here. Got to put your US DOT, I'm sorry, not your US DOT. They want your MC number. So right there, we're going to put in our MC number. Oops. I just erased it. We'll just, okay. So there, we found the part that pertains to trucking. Now 6, 7, and 8 do not apply to trucking. I already read it. I know that. So we're done with that part. Now let's go to right here. My computer doesn't want to cooperate here. Name of purchaser or leasee. So purchaser, we're going to say Bob's. My typing skills aren't great. Trucking. Right here, signature. It says please sign after printing. So we can't sign it right now. We've got to wait till we're done printing it. EIN number. Put our EIN number in there, your tax ID number if you're a business. Otherwise, find out what your EIN number is, tax ID number. The date, today is 12/05/20. So we put that in there. Then the address. Let's say your address is 123 Main Street. City, Akron, Ohio. We gotta put the state in there. Zip code. I don't know what it is there. Okay, so look at that. We just completed the form. This form is done. What do we need to do then? We need to print it out, and then we need to sign it right here. I can't seem to highlight that, but you see where the signature is there. Sign it, turn it into the retailer, and you are done. Now what I do, I have a binder in the truck. I carry multiple tax certificates for each state. Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia. I can't remember them off the top of my head. You're just going to have to search. So I hope that helped clear up any questions, and that's about as clear as I can be on it. I hope that helped the gentleman that wanted to see it. And do this. It seems like you're not going to save a lot of money, but think about it. Just every time you get a PM service done or an oil change, if it's $350 and your tax rate is only 5%, that's $17.50 you're saving. Just only when you get your oil change. You know, that's not including other things you're doing and buying on the truck. A lot of people tend to do this when they're home at their home shop or have the truck there, but I try to do it everywhere I can. It really, really adds up. So if you like this kind of video, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out these other videos on the screen right now for more information on things like this. Everybody have a great night.